Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome, 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 welcome. It's Thursday and it is 11:31. And so we are here and we are ready to take control. This is Taking Control with Aaron. This is our platform where we explain human anger and sharing the responses that can be effective and that help us to improve relationships and our life situations. Yep, this is us. And I thank you. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your time. See, I'm rocking my high school sweatshirt today. Um, Here we are. Thanking you so very, very much for being a part of this, right? We use this platform to share just some tidbits, explaining human anger and what that is. We want to move away from the concept of managing anger to being able to take control of this emotion of anger, understanding that anger is an emotion and our emotions belong to us. We don't belong to them. So we get to control them and they don't get to control us. And that's the premise. That's what it is. Just being able to help us understand anger in such a way that we're able to take control and not let anger create adverse consequences in our lives, not remove situations in our lives, not destroy careers, not uh, destroy families, right? Not destroy communities. We want to be able to, as individuals, to make sure that we understand what anger is for us as people, and then to utilize anger in a way that is positive, in a way that can help us build, in a way that can protect us, and not use our anger or have our anger used against us. So that's how we roll up here at Promise Resource Network. Till we're taking control and we're going to learn some things, share some things, hang out a little bit. If you come on, thank you. And while you're on, please share the conversations on your social media platform. And please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to our classes and our conversations, because we want to get these in as many households as possible, on as many uh, social media platforms, and on your phones and on your laptops and on your tablets. We want people to have access to the great information that we believe we share here, Promise Resource Network, that will help people to build wellness, to build recovery, and to find healing in the different areas of our lives. And so here we are, taking control today, explaining human anger and sharing effective response approaches that improve relationships and life situations. So let's talk about it. Let's hang out. Today we're going to go a little deeper. Remember, we're here for 10 weeks. Our last class is June 10th. And they have some surprises for you, some conversation around that time. We're looking at how to begin to slowly open back up here at PRN, how to slowly, with safety precautions definitely still in mind, but also looking at how to shape space. Taking Control will be an in-person class offered after this series. And so we'll be talking about that for those of you who want to continue, those of you who want to refer someone. We're looking at how to and where to do this on site. I love sharing this information, but talking about anger and helping people with anger is something I believe you do in person. I believe it's something that we sit down and look at each other and deal with emotions and talk through some things and get a little intimate with our conversation. And so this is a class right here, Taking Control, that we will be offering when we get live and in person again. But when we finish this series on June 10th, we're gonna park it until we can get live, but it will be offered again. So you are part of the inaugural Taking Control, whoever's on, and I appreciate you hanging out with us. Kim Poda is on, and so Kim, I thank you so very much for hanging out. Oh, my people, my good friend and beloved Friend Robin is on. Hey, Rob, thanks for hanging out. And Trudy, if that is my Trudy, I am going to be one happy camper. Trudy Snuggs is on, and that blesses my heart and my soul. Trudy, is good to have you on. If I'm not mistaken, Trudy, you way up in Greensboro or High Point somewhere, and you being on, and Robin's up in Philly, and Kim is almost in South Carolina. Thank you, everybody, for coming on. Let's talk about it. So taking control, and we want to dig in a little bit. This evolves as you have been with me. You know this has been evolving, and just want to look at what anger, right? The core of anger. Remember, anger is a human emotion. We all have it. What triggers you may not trigger me. What makes you angry may not make me angry. But there's something that it's gonna tick you off, gonna piss you off, it's gonna make you mad. And so, what we want to be able to do is continually learn responses versus reaction, right? Reaction means I'm letting anger be in control. I'm letting the emotion of anger be the driver of this. Well, we don't want anger to be the driver. And so what we want to do is learn how to respond versus react. We want to learn how to respond versus react. Reaction, anger is the driver. Response, I'm the driver. I critically think through, I assess, I figure this out. Today, we want to talk about how anger physically affects us. And it does. It does. You take my word on that. For those who don't know, it's tea time. Hold on. That's 3 blends of black tea. 3. Oh my God, I love tea. All right, so let's get with it. So we understand that anger can affect us physically. And this is why we take control. Anger can do some damage to your body. Anger can do some things. Unexpressed anger, unchecked anger, anger misunderstood. It can affect your body. Anger can shut you down. This is why we have this expression, right? Somebody says, I got so angry, I saw red. That's blood pressure, babe. That's where that expression comes from. It's not good, right? So we picture a thermostat and the temperature goes up and you see the mercury, the red, it goes up, the higher the temperature. And you know what happens if it gets too hot? Yep. And so what we want to be able to do is to check that anger, to be able to, now watch, anger is a natural human response. It was given to us to protect us. This is why it is important, it is imperative that we learn to respond versus react, that we learn to control our anger, because it can hurt us physically. So let's talk about it, gang of mine. Physical expressions of anger. We want to talk about how our bodies respond to anger. And it's important to know, especially if you're still reacting versus responding to your anger. If things are still triggering you, if things, it's natural, right? There are certain things that tick us off. You mess with my daughters, we got an issue. I'm going to go there, right? And so there are certain things that just tick us off. That's just life, right? However, I don't like bullies. When I see people bullying, I verbally or physically, those are things for Aaron that, but I've had to learn how to respond to anger because I don't want anger to shut my body down. So let's talk about it a little bit. There are long-term effects to uncontrolled anger. There are long-term effects to uncontrolled anger. These effects include, and let's dig in. You check your list, right? Increased anxiety. Increased anxiety can come from uncontrolled anger. High blood pressure can come from, these are just some of them, right? Headaches can come from, and I've recently spent time with people and helping them process things and knowing that these are some of the effects of the anger that they've expressed or held in. You know, you hear people who have experienced or experiencing things, situations or circumstances in life, and they'll respond, I'm all right. Well, really, you're not, because you're shaking and you look like this and you're snapping at people. No, you really are not all right. And so what we begin to see, that anger that is unbridled or uncontrolled, right? Or anger that is suppressed can create physical harm within our body. And some of the things that we see are increased anxiety, high blood pressure, and headaches. The body and mind, when we have long-term anger that is unexpressed, the body and our minds in sync, right? They go into action. Now, it's something that you can't see, but it's something that's happening. It's something that you can't see. It's something that's happening, like a volcano, right? You don't see what's happening underground. All you see, you begin to feel the shaking of the mountain, and then you begin to see ash spurt before you see the volcanic explosion. So there's some things happening that are creating other things. What you see is the ground shake. What you see is the volcanic ash. What you don't see is what's happening inside. Again, it's like a pimple. When I talk about that often, you see the whitehead. But what you don't see is everything that has happened and is happening inside that is creating your visual evidence, which is the whitehead. But what is doing the damage is inside. Okay. So with those analogies, the body and the mind, when anger is uncontrolled, when anger is suppressed, it's some stuff going on. And this is what's going on. I'm not a medical guy, right? I'm just not that guy. I play a doctor on TV, but I'm not that guy. So I'm gonna give you some things, you move them around as you would, but I am knowledgeable enough to be able to share. Here's some of the things that happens, right? Our adrenal glands, they begin kicking in, right? It's like baking a cake inside of us, right? And so those stress hormones are released. And all this is happening inside. Well, I'm all right. I'm all right. Well, you're not, because this stuff is happening inside. And then your blood flow begins to move a little more rapid because your heart rate is picking up, because you are the way you're thinking and you're replaying this. And so you're actually reliving whatever's going on as far as what is triggering the anger. And so your heart rate is going up. It's affecting your muscles. And the reason I know, because when I get mad, my lips do like, right? So it's affecting your muscles and you're tensing up. You're talking and your eyes are doing like this. You're getting tense. And so all this is working together now. This is your brain and your body in sync as a response to uncontrolled anger. Your blood pressure then begins to rise. This is for all of us, gang. It ain't just you. It ain't just me. It's all of us. This just happens and your blood pressure begins to rise and your breathing gets exaggerated. Our bodies go through changes with uncontrolled anger. Our bodies go through changes when anger is expressed through reaction versus response. And that's why I share with us that this emotion of anger, we have to be able to, we just have to be able to take control where we are not reacting, but responding, because what we're reacting to is what our body is going through. And we have to be able to take control of that. So the body and mind goes into action. And when you have uncontrolled anger, please understand there are some things happening behind the scenes. All you remember is that you blanked out and went off. Well, it didn't just happen. There's some things going on. So when all of this is going on, I was going to use another word other than stuff, but this is PG. But there's a formula for some bad stuff to happen. There's a formula for some bad stuff to happen. When the constant flood of stress chemicals, that's what's happening inside, plus those metabolic changes, right? And that's what I talked about, your muscles and your heart rate. And when those things happen, you add that to unmanaged anger, you are doing harm to the body. You like my little math equation? So constant flood of stress chemicals plus the metabolic changes plus unmanaged anger equals harm to the body. I like that. I didn't do a lot of good work with math when I was in middle and high school. And finally, when I did go to college, I got a little better at math. I'm so proud of my math formula. Y'all go ahead and clap for my math formula. Constant flood of stress chemicals plus the metabolic change plus unmanaged anger equals harm to the body. And y'all, we don't want harm to our body. We not through anger. we live in a realm of wellness. We want to be well. We want to be healed. And so one of the things that helps is to be able to take control of our anger. Some of the short and long-term health problems of anger are present. Now, listen, because you experience these doesn't mean that you have a anger problem. But what I am saying is that uncontrolled anger, right? Suppressed anger can create harm to our body, and it can do some long and some short-term damage. So before we go through that, just want to say hello to everybody on chat. Earl, my buddy Earl, my brother Earl, what's up with you? Everything's good, Earl. Just sitting here trying to throw a little knowledge out there and just share some things for us all. Hey, my partner, my sidekick, my partner in crime, my buddy Yo, my co-director Lisa K is on. Hey, buddy, I hope all is well with you. And Roberta's on from New York. Yo, Berta, good to see you. Know that you're on. So let's look at some of the short and long-term health problems that can be created by uncontrolled, unmanaged, or suppressed anger. Tea time. Yes, I'm trying to tell you if you don't know. All right, headaches. And we talked about that a moment ago. Because of the increase in blood pressure that happens when we have uncontrolled and or unmanaged or suppressed anger, that blood flow creates, and our muscle tensions create and can create headaches. Not a good reason for headaches to happen, right? And so does damage to the body. Who wants to walk around with headaches caused by anger all day? And so this is a short-term and possible long-term issue. Here's another that is really important. And we're talking about uncontrolled anger. And this is why it's so helpful to be able to know how the body works so that we can understand the damage that can be done so that we can address and take control of anger. Digestion problems such as abdominal pain. Angers can create digestive problems. You've seen people get so angry where I can't eat right now. The body, which needs food, and you could be hungry, says no because I can't, or I eat in because of what's happening with my body, because of the uncontrolled, unmanaged, suppressed anger. Now my body is not functioning. My digestive system is not functioning as it should. And something wonderful and pleasant like a meal, because of how I've reacted to anger, I can't enjoy that, number one, as a person, but number two, my body doesn't receive it as it should to grab the nutrients that are needed out of the food simply because of what's happening with my anger. So, and it can cause, now here's the deal, the thing about digestive issues can create something else, and go on long term can really create some damage for us, right? And how about this? That would come out of anger. These are the things that long term or uncontrolled or suppressed anger can do. Insomnia. That's a biggie for me because I'm a guy who struggles with sleep as it is, because it's hard for me to shut my brain down. So insomnia is something that I personally would not like it extended or added to, because I'm walking around with suppressed anger. I'm walking around with uncontrolled anger. I'm walking around with unmanaged anger. Yo, Amanda, what's up, buddy? Yo. So these are some of the things. Just take note, right? Just sort of take, if not a mental note, write some things down with this. I want to give you this so that we can understand some of the damage of uncontrolled, unmanaged, and suppressed anger. Increased anxiety, increased worriment, and increased fear. Just the anxiety that comes, the heightened anxiety. Uncontrolled anger can do that. And what we want to be able to do is woosah. I talk about that all the time. We want to be able to woosah. We want to be able to control. We want to be able to relax. We want to be able to come out with some solutions. We want to be able to respond versus react to anger for these reasons. And here's a biggie for us. Then again, we're talking about how the body literally actually can respond, excuse me, to anger, to uncontrolled, unmanaged, suppressed anger. Depression. Depression has been proven that a result of um, long anger, depression. There's this connection. And so what we want to do is now, does depression only come from uncontrolled, unmanaged, suppressed anger? Absolutely, positively not. But what we want to do is decrease the reasons and the causes that we see. High blood pressures. High blood pressure. Yeah. Yeah. That has so much to do. And I go back to that terminology. I'm seeing red. I'm blanking out. That's blood pressure. That's just not a term. Something really is happening in your body. You really did blank. And it's the issue of blood pressure. And we know blood pressure has some things attached to it that can be very harmful. Let's try this something else. Let's try this. Woo. Skin problems. There's this connection and can be that suppressed, unmanaged, uncontrolled anger because of what's happening in the body can create skin problems such as eczema. When a person is always heightened or it has irritable anger, where they're always irritated about things, there can be some problems there from what the body is doing, and the result will be skin problems. There are a couple of things that I want to give us that I really think that we need to pay close attention to. We can talk about it, we can joke about it, but it's not really a funny issue. It's for real, for real. Uncontrolled anger can create heart attacks. Yeah. Uncontrolled or unmanaged or suppressed anger can result in, because of everything that's happening with the body, can result in heart attacks. We've learned over this last year with COVID that depending on what's going on with you medically, right, your pre-existing conditions, what can happen, what can be exposed if you have these medical conditions that you've already had. You've had these preconditions. Suppressed, unmanaged, uncontrolled anger can do the same thing. It can attach itself to right, your body. And so we've talked about some of the things the body does that you can't see. And so if you already have heart issues, if you already have issues connected to issues that create problems in the heart, this suppressed, uncontrolled, unmanaged anger and what it does to the body can complicate those things that can result in heart attack. Yeah. And we do know, we talk about being so mad that we can stroke out. It's not a joke. It's a common, right? We say that as part of how we talk, how we describe things. But in reality, there's some medical evidence that you actually can stroke out. You actually can have a stroke because of how anger is responded or not responded to. When anger is suppressed, uncontrolled, and unmanaged. And so what I wanted to be able to do is go through these real quick. We talked about the stroke could be a long-term or short-term problem. Heart attack can be a short or long-term problem. You can have skin problems, which can be a short or long-term problem of uncontrolled, unmanaged, suppressed anger. Skin problems such as eczema. We know that high blood pressure is definitely on the menu when we're talking about uncontrolled, unmanageable, and suppressed anger. Depression can result from, right? This isn't the only cause of depression, but depression can definitely result from. Increased anxiety can definitely result from. Oh, wow, can it? The heightened anxiety in our lives. Insomnia. And take it from a person who sometimes struggled to sleep. Nah, we don't. I'm not going to add anything that's going to rob me of sleep. If anything, I'm going to figure that thing out. And so insomnia can be a result of digestion problems, can be a result of, such as abdominal pain, like my stomach hurts. Well, let's talk about, are you angry about anything? Are you keeping things in? Are you suppressing some things? And of course, headaches. Headaches are can be, right? Headaches can be. I don't want to say they are. I don't know why you're having headaches. You might just need a new glasses prescription and your eyes examined. I don't know. I'm just saying that we have come to understand that suppressed, unmanaged, uncontrolled anger can result in experiencing constant headaches. Now, as with everything else, there's recovery for us. As with every and anything else, there's recovery for us. So I want to be able to talk about also some healthy responses to anger that help limit, that help decrease health problems. That just this is this medicine, right? This is the anger medicine. It's not a pill, but it's how we reshape thinking, maybe how we reshape some actions, how we do some work with our emotional responses. Even for some of us, it becomes a spiritual issue, right? And so, whatever the recovery response is and process is, we want to be able to understand that so we know how to address anger and how to, when our anger is uncontrolled and our anger is unmanaged or it is suppressed, how do I now get ahead of that so that it doesn't become a health issue for me? Because anger does affect our bodies in so many ways. All right, let me know if you're still with me. Just check in. But these are some of the healthy responses to anger. Because remember, well, you say this all the time, Aaron. Yeah, because it's important. It's important we do understand that our anger is a human emotion. It's been given to us just like we have a heart and a spleen. That emotion of anger is there. Given the right trigger, we all can express and feel and experience anger, right? What we want to learn how to do is respond versus react. What we want to learn how to do is how to control, not even to manage. That's why we don't call this anger management, how to control anger in such a way that it is healthy for me, where I take control of my emotions and I don't let my emotions take control of me. So let's talk about the healthy response to anger. Let's talk about the healthy response to anger. I see Trudy is still here. Trudy, I want you to know you blessed my socks off, buddy. Trudy is still here, and my Lisa K, my buddy, is still here. Not angry about gas anymore, filling up in Rock Hill for $2.69 a gallon. Man, if I didn't have to run out of gas to get to Rock Hill, I'd do that too. But I filled up on Monday, so I'm good. So I can dig it. Because many of us are angry about gas in North and South Carolina. I would imagine from Texas all the way up the East Coast. And so, look, it is what it is. So there's no use of being angry about it. We didn't do it. And it's just something that happens in life. So we're going to respond in a way that doesn't work against us. So let's talk about healthy responses to anger. Okay. So we want to get ahead of this because we don't want it to affect our body. If you feel out of control, here's a suggestion. Walk away from the situation temporarily. Now, what I should have done in this caption is make everything lowercase except temporarily. Okay. Here's why. Remember, we talk about responses versus reactions. The reactions are without thinking. I just respond. You know, a fly comes, I swat it. I didn't even think about that. It's just a reaction. The fly lands, I now think, how do you out of here, fly, right? Do I get a paper? Am I going to push them one way? I begin to strategize. I think through it. When we walk away from the situation, we're not acknowledging that the situation didn't happen. What we're doing is giving ourselves an opportunity to, listen to this, to respond versus react. We're giving ourselves an opportunity to put our critical thinking motion, right? Our critical thinking gears in motion so that we can now not just see what happened and experience what happened, but now to assess what happened and what our response will be. So if I'm out of control and I'm about to go in on this thing, I want to walk away from this situation temporarily. The situation still needs to be resolved, but I can't resolve it in my heightened state. So what I want to be able to do is to calm down, woosah, put my critical thinking gears in motion, assess both what happened and how I'm going to respond. So we walk away temporarily, but things need to be resolved. Unresolved means, right, suppressed, and suppressed means that anger has not been addressed. And so we don't want to resolve. We want resolution, but we also want to resolve in a way that doesn't work against us, in a way that we have critically thought out, in a way that is strategic, in a way that can help the situation be improved, right? So if you feel out of control, walk away from the situation temporarily until you can cool down. We recognize and accept the emotion as a normal part of our lives. We got angry and it's okay. Now, it's not okay if I break out all the car windows or if I key the car or, right, if I do something vindictive. That's not okay. That's not okay. That's lowering who I am to a situation when I want to rise above the situation and take control of it, right? But I want to recognize first. That's a part of recovery of anything. Acknowledge the experience. This did happen. This did happen. I can't believe it happened. Okay, when you cool down, please believe it because it did happen. Now what we want to do is figure out what to do about it. Remember what I taught my daughters forever, 2 questions in life. What happened and what am I going to do about it? What happened, and then what am I going to do about it? And so often we hang our hats on what happened instead of what am I going to do about it, right? Now, you see the difference, the distance between my 2 thumbs. We need to take some time because after we figure out after we realize what happened, that's when we get heightened. What we're going to do about it, we've got to figure that out after we calm down because we don't want what we're going to do about it to be an immediate reaction. We want it to be a response so that it can be a win for me, a win for you. So recognize and accept the emotion as a part of life. Also, as a healthy response to anger, once the problem is identified, let's consider now coming up with different strategies to remedy the situation. That's what we just talked about, right? Once you identify what happened, because something did happen, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be angry. I wouldn't be, something happened. So let's identify it. One of the things I talk about often that I like to share, I must ask the question, did it happen or did it happen to me? Because that's 2 different expressions of anger, right? Sometimes things happen, but I grab them as if they happened to me. George Floyd's death, Trayvon Martin's death, it happened to them physically, but it happened to me culturally, right? Yeah. If I drive down the street and see you with a flat tire, that didn't happen to me. You may be someone I care about, someone I love. It may be something happened out of that flat tire, maybe an accident, maybe you crashed your car, that I can be empathetic about, but it didn't happen to me. I have to distinguish between what happened and what happened to me because that now determines how I respond. So I want to identify the problem. I want to consider coming up with different strategies. Now, different means this, right? Different than just my reaction, but it also means I want to ABCD it. I want some options. Okay, if I do this, this will happen. If I do that, maybe we'll try this. Should I call? Should I walk over? I want to run through some scenarios and then have the option to choose the best one for the remedy of the situation. Do something physical, such as going for a run or playing a sport. This goes back to when we talked about walking away from the situation temporarily. Do something physical to sort of get the body re-geared, because we're talking about our physical responses to anger and what it does to the body. Let's get the body re-geared. So maybe walk it off, get on that treadmill, go for a run, right? Go shoot a little hoops. Get it out, and get the body regulated or re-regulated to how you would respond to anything under a calm, collective thought process. Yeah. I hope I'm hanging out with you here. Kim Porter says this is what she needed. You're welcome, Kim. You know I love you like that. I'm just here to help. And guess what? One of the things I share is that those things that I teach or facilitate, I I'm teaching from the lived experience. I'm teaching from the research of everything, but I'm also trying to do some Aaron build up too, right? I'm trying to help me be a better to do better. I'm a good person. It helped me do things differently. I like to use that term. We often say, I want to be better. You're wonderful, Ed. You're wonderful. Whoever you are, you're wonderful. What we want to be able to do is make different decisions in different situations, right? I'm telling y'all really need to grab hold of some tea. So, healthy responses to anger, right? This is where we're at. We want to be able to walk away if we feel out of control, walk away temporarily. We want to be able to cool down. We want to be able to recognize and accept the emotion of anger that is a normal part of our life. It just is what it is. It's who we are. It's a part of us. And that's something that we talk about. Another healthy response to anger, when I identify the situation, the problem, we want to come up with different strategies. First, we want to come up with a different strategy than whatever our reaction is, because our reaction might be, I'm going to go punch someone in the head. I'll break their windows out. I know they ain't do that to me, right? So we want a different strategy, but then we want a series of strategies, A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, whatever that is, just so I have options. I want to create options so that I can do what is best for myself and best for the situation. Because remember, when we talked about taking control, I'm going back up here with you. Remember, we said that taking control, we want to explain human anger and share effective response approaches. Now, here's the result. Here's what we're looking for. Here's where our end game is to improve relationships in life situations. And so we don't want to come up with solutions or strategies that are not going to improve relationships in life situations. Okay. So once we identify the problem, then we want to consider coming up with different strategies. Why? Because we want to improve life situations. We want to improve relationships. Okay. And so we want to come up with different strategies to remedy the situation. I keep saying Remy. I must be wanting to play some Remy Ma. So we want to remedy the situation. We want to do something physical and consider going for a run or playing a sport or getting into an activity. Maybe it's cooking, just something to get re-regulate our bodies, get our bodies back to the pre-heightened state so that we can just calm down, right? And usually something physical happens. Talk to someone. Talk to someone you trust about how you're feeling. Can I say it again? Talk to someone. That support network that we've built and building wellness and recovery, this is when we need them. Not that friend that's going to go blabbing my business all out. And not necessarily that person who has advice all the time. Because right now I don't need advice. I just need an ear. I got a vent. And that's a physical activity too, talking, right? I need to get it out. So if I can empty that out, now I can put in some solutions. I can put in some remedy. I can put in some resolve. And so it's important for us to have those people or that person or those people in our lives where we can talk out how we're feeling. And we get to hear ourselves when we talk it out. There's a saying, we want to get out of our own head, right? We want to get out of our own head. We want to get out of our emotions. I want to leave emotions. I got to step away for a minute because y'all out of control. Y'all out of control emotions. So I got to step away for a minute. I want to talk some things out. And then I'll step back in and I can put you emotions back in the order that I need you to be in, especially you, anger. I want to put you back in the order I need you to be in so I can make the rational decisions that are helpful to both myself and my situations. So those are the three responses, right? How do we respond to anger? What are healthy, key word there, what are our healthy responses? First of all, If we feel out of control, we want to take a walk or move away from the situation temporarily. Sometimes it's not a walk. Sometimes it's hanging up a phone, or sometimes it's cutting off an email, right? But if we need to, if it's a physical piece, we need to walk away from the situation temporarily because the situation still needs to be resolved. But I need to calm down first. I don't want to deal with this in my heightened state. And I want to recognize and accept the fact that the emotion that I'm feeling is just a part of life. I'm not doing anything different or wrong than anybody else. It is what it is today. This trigger, this situation, this is the resulting emotion. This is just real, but I need to control it so it doesn't screw me up. Once you identify the problem, please consider coming up with different strategies, right? We want to identify it, call it what it is, see what it is, look at what it is analyze it. Is it something that happened, or is it something that happened to me? I want to know how to respond versus react. I want to ask the question, what happened? And then ask the second question, which accompanies that. What am I going to do about it? And then I want to come up with different strategies. I want to give myself options and strategies so that I can remedy, not Remy, so that I can remedy the situation. Okay. I want to think about it, consider doing something physical, going out for a run, walking, cooking, eating, yep. Or playing a sport, just something, right? Just something to help my body to get back to where I was at before I got heightened, right? So that I can truly process. And I want to bring that down because so many things are happening within my body that aren't good for me because it is coming out of a place of anger. And then I want to talk with somebody. I want to talk to someone that I can trust. So I ain't gonna go blabbing my business or who's just gonna give me a bunch of advice. I just need somebody to listen. This is why you need a peer support specialist. Yep. Just a peer, somebody who gets me and somebody who will allow me to share, no judgment, who's very objective, who will listen to me and give me an opportunity to hear myself about how I'm feeling so that I can process. So that's where we are. That's where we are. That's what we're talking about. And I appreciate everybody that's hanging in there today, taking control. We're explaining human anger and just sharing some effective response approaches so we can improve relationships and our life situations. I want to give you this, and then we're going to call it a day. We're going to put the plane in the hangar. We talked about our physical expressions of anger and the fact that our bodies do respond to anger in a certain way, and in certain ways, and we don't want it to work against us. This is our recap. We talked about the long-term effects of uncontrolled anger, and it can look like anxiety, high blood pressure, and headaches. We talked about anger triggers, and those anger triggers trigger the body. And as our body is triggered, we generally have three responses, right? Fight, freeze, or flight. We often hear fight or flight, but sometimes it's a freeze thing. Sometimes it's a freeze thing. It's the three F's, right? We fight, we freeze, or we leave the situation unresolved. We're out of there, right? So these emotions and reactions too, they result from and they are responses to fear or excitement and anxiety. And so we understand that the body begins to do something with anger, and it goes to another level when the anger is unmanaged, uncontrolled, or suppressed. What happens with the body, and this is just a recap because we're about to put the plane in the hangar. Something that happens for us is that the body and mind in sync, it just goes into an action. It has a process, right? That thinking action mechanism now begins to go in. And then listen. The body's only doing what the body does, but as it does this, being driven by anger that is unmanaged, uncontrolled, or suppressed, what the body is doing is not really working for us. It's working against us. So the adrenal glands creates the stress hormones, and then that activates your blood flow. Your muscles begin to do things that they would not ordinarily be doing at this point. Your heart rate goes up, which increases your blood pressure. Your breathing becomes really exaggerated. And then all of a sudden, brother, sister, we got some issues, right? And so the formula for this, when you have all of that happening, that formula, hey, look, that's the formula for bad stuff to happen. And so the constant flood of stress chemicals added to the metabolic changes, added to the unmanaged anger equals harm to the body. And these are things that if anger wasn't driving it would be good for the body. It could be good for the body, but there's this, the body's going to try to protect itself. And so all of a sudden harm is being done to the body because it's driven by anger. That's why we got to take control of anger. We looked at some of the long and short-term health problems that can be caused. And so we said headaches. We talked about digestive issues, which can create abdominal or stomach pains. Insomnia. Oh, man, please. What? I don't even want to stay there. Increased anxiety. Depression can be caused. High blood pressure can be a result. Skin problems can be a result, such as eczema. Heart attacks. We've come on, right? Anger creates those stressors that, suppressed, uncontrolled, or managed, and then we can stroke out. We use that term, but it's real. But there's some healthy responses, and we talked about this. We talked about this in depth. If you feel out of control, walk away from the situation temporarily until you cool down. Recognize and accept the emotion as a part of life. And then once you identify the problem, please consider coming up with different strategies that will remedy the situation. And the last, and to me, the important one, talk to somebody that you trust. Key there, key, ding, ding, ding. Key word, that you trust. They're not going to go blabbing your information out. They're not going to go blabbing what you said, and they're not going to try to fix you. They're not going to try to fix you. They're going to listen because they care about you. There's some care. There's some concern. There's some love. There's some empathy. They're going to listen and let you get it out and let you inside sort of figure out what your solutions are to everything. Hey, listen, I want to thank you so much for hanging out on Taking Control. I hope something that I threw your way, that I put down, that you picked up. I'm hoping that this is just maybe a touch up for some of us, right? There's some information that you knew. You've already started building your responses versus your reactions to anger. And you've already started taking control. If this is something new to you and for you, I hope that it helped. All right. Oh, wow. I see my buddy Carolyn is on. All my long distance folks are on today. Carolyn's down in New Bern. Down by the water, down by the shore, down by the dock of the bay. Carolyn, good to see you. Much love to you. Carolyn says, I lived in fight-flight mode for a long time. It will make you deteriorate on the inside. Hey, look, thank you for this. Thank you for putting that out there, Carolyn, so that others can see that this ain't just chit-chat, right? This is real life stuff, and it helps us to understand what's going on so that we can do something different. And Carolyn, I'm praying for you. I'm hoping today's a good day for you. All right, let's talk about this. Our welcome desk, Promise Resource Network. If you want to contact me, if you want to be able to get some peer support, you've got something you just want to share that's good, or you're looking for more information about PRN, you need some resources, you need a connection, whatever it is, please call our welcome desk Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Kim Porter, who's on today. Kim, I love you and I salute you. Kim Porter will be there to answer your calls Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. You can reach our welcome desk at 704-390-7709. 704-390-7709. Also, we have a warm line. And our warm line, we dusted that off and put that in place when we physically shut down March 16th of last year. And we wanted to make sure there was a connection, that people had a way to connect during that time of isolation and that time of quarantine. People went through so many things This warm line was put in place for you to be able to connect to peer support specialists who have a warm ear. It wasn't a crisis line. It wasn't an advice line. It was just a line, literally, that a warm line, warm hearts, warm ears, peer support specialists ready to help you. Watch this, by sharing our lived experience, help you and support you with active listening, and then together with you to be able to help your day be a good day. Warm line, free, confidential, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I got to say it. I have to do it. Operators are standing by. I did it. I'm so silly. 833-390-7728. 833-390-7728. Our warm line. Please call it. Really, on the real for real, we have people waiting for you to be able to call, and just they're there to be able to say, yeah, let's talk about it, right? And so we appreciate you. Everybody on the chat, thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate you more than I could tell you. I hope there was something that you received that that will help you. All right. So this is Taking Control. We're about to put the plane in the hangar. We're explaining human anger and sharing effective response approaches that improve relationships and life situations. 1 o'clock, right here, wrapping with Sharon. Sharon's going to talk about wellness recovery action plans. And please jump back in with us on tomorrow for our full slate in the morning, right? Sharon does Keep Your Power. And then we've got a couple of other things on. At 1 o'clock, I will be doing my recovery, my recovery, and just talking about the music of the different eras of life. I want you to come on tomorrow, right? We're just going to talk about those songs, those groups, as we look at our own recovery journeys and that music that has been important to us. We're covering the 70s tomorrow. I did the 60s and the Temptations last week, and so we're going to do the 70s this week, talking about a little Earth, Wind, and Fire and some other stuff, and looking at where wellness and recovery was built and what was happening during those times. I love you. I appreciate you. If you have an opportunity, make sure that you share this, and if you would, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, I will see you.